Yo, what's going on, everybody? Get Buckets here, and we're back again with another video. And for today's video, we're gonna be talking about the top 5 draft steals of the last 5 years, which is from 2015 to 2020. I know we're not in 2020 anymore; we're in 2021, but you know the 2021 draft hasn't come up yet. But we're gonna be doing the top 5 draft steals of the last 5 years, 2015 to 2020. So yeah, let's get into the video. Alright, so starting off with number 1. The number 1 draft steals that I got in my top 5 list. Keep in mind, this list is not in order, so like, I'm not gonna make this list in order. But the number 1 player that I got is Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell, he was drafted 13th pick in the 2017 NBA draft. 13th pick in the 2017 NBA draft. He was actually drafted by the Denver Nuggets. I know Nuggets fans don't want to hear this, but you know, Donovan Mitchell was drafted by the Denver Nuggets, which it kind of sucks because if Mitchell was on the Nuggets, he would have been with Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, with arguably the best center in the NBA. Sixers fan won't say that's true. Sixers fan will say that Embiid is the best center, but you know, he would have been with Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and then obviously himself, Donovan Mitchell. That team would have been nice. If the Nuggets never traded away Donovan, they could have had a start lineup of Jamal Murray, Mitchell, Will Barton, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic. That team would be crazy good. Yeah, I know Nuggets fans don't like they don't want to hear this, but your team could have been good right now. You know, like a good Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's been balling. He had a good playoff run this year. Although he did lose in the first round. They blew a 3-1 lead to Jamal Murray in the Denver Nuggets. So Donovan Mitchell right now, obviously he's an all-star caliber player. He's on the Utah Jazz. He's the best player on his team. And another player too, Donovan Mitchell's second best player, Rudy Gobert, was also drafted by the Denver Nuggets, I believe. Yeah, I think he was drafted by the Denver Nuggets, and then he went to the Utah Jazz. So the two best players on the Utah Jazz were drafted. The Denver Nuggets drafted. So the Denver Nuggets just basically gave the Utah Jazz the team that they have right now. So that is the first player that I got on the draft sales of the last 5 years. So now let's get right into the second one. So now the second player that we have on this list, that is Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors. So Pascal Siakam was drafted in 2016. So yeah, 2016. He was drafted by the Toronto Raptors. He was the 27th pick of the 2016 NBA draft, so he wasn't even in the lottery. He was not top 10. He was not top 5. He was almost in the second round. And right now, looking at Pascal Siakam, right now he's had an amazing career. Even though right now at this moment, at the start of 2020-21 season, he's not been playing good. He hasn't been playing that good, especially in the 2020 playoff run. He didn't play good, but overall, he's made the All-Star before. NBA champion. He played with Kawhi Leonard. In my opinion, Pascal Siakam would be so good if he was like a second option. But right now, you can say he's the best player on the Raptors. You can say it's Kyle Lowry. You can say it's whoever you think it is. But right now, he's the best player on the Toronto Raptors. So he's had an amazing career. Although recently in the playoffs, in the bubble, right now during the start, he hasn't been playing the best. But let's just hope that he develops more. Let's just hope he get more better, so the Raptors can win more games. Cause the Raptors are not in a good position right now. But yeah, Pascal Siakam, he was 26th pick, almost in the second round. He could have. You can argue he could be top 5. You can say he could be top 5 of the 2016 NBA draft. So now, let's get right into the third player. So now, the third player on this list of the draft steals in the last 5 years that I got, and you guys may know him, and that is Malcolm Brogdon from the Indiana Pacers. So Malcolm Brogdon, another NBA player from the 2016 NBA draft, another member from that draft class like Pascal Siakam. Malcolm Brogdon was drafted the 6th pick in the 2nd round of the 2016 NBA draft. So he wasn't even drafted in the 1st round. He was drafted in the 2nd round. He was the 6th pick of the 2nd round. He was drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks, who, Malcolm Brogdon should be a Buck right now. The Milwaukee Bucks didn't want to pay Malcolm Brogdon his money. Like, I wish he was on the Milwaukee Bucks right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of Bucks fans wish that they still kept Malcolm Brogdon instead of Eric Bledsoe, who's just trash in the playoffs. He just trash. He trash in the playoffs. But yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks, they made a mistake in, you know, letting Malcolm Brogdon go to the Indiana Pacers. In my opinion, they should have kept him. If they kept him right now, if they kept him right now, I'm not sure if they still would have had Jrue Holiday. But they would have a solid team of, you know, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and then obviously Malcolm Brogdon. Because Malcolm Brogdon is a really good shooter. And now right now, today's season, in the beginning of 2020-2021 NBA season, he's averaging over 20 points. So he's been playing pretty good for the Indiana Pacers. He's been hitting a lot of threes. He's just been pretty good. You know, I wish he was on the Milwaukee Bucks, but obviously the Milwaukee Bucks just they let him go like nothing. But yeah, now that is Malcolm Brogdon. He was the 6th pick in the 2nd round, so he wasn't even in the 1st round, wasn't in the lottery. Like, yeah, that is the definition of a draft steal. So now let's get right into the other player, the 4th player that I got on my list. Alright, so the first player on my list that I got is a draft steal, and that is Devin Booker from the 2015 NBA draft. So Devin Booker, he was drafted by the Phoenix Suns. He was drafted actually at number 13. So he was barely at the lottery. He was drafted at 13. He didn't even go top 10. Didn't even go top 5. Right now, that Devin Booker is a top 5 pick in the 2015 NBA draft. You can say top 3 pick. Yeah, you can say top 3 pick for Devin Booker for the 2015 NBA draft. So Booker right now, his career is going pretty well. His team is doing, the Suns are doing okay. They have Chris Paul. They got DeAndre Ayton. They're doing fine. They're gonna make the playoffs, in my opinion. They're gonna make, even though the West is just tough right now. Like, we already know who the top 2 teams are gonna be in the West, and that is the Lakers and the Clippers. But then outside of that, like, the West is so competitive right now. I know James Harden just left and he went to the Brooklyn Nets. I wish Harden went to the Sixers, because, you know, I don't want to see no more big threes in the NBA. I want to see more of a duel, but I really wish James Harden went to the Sixers. But yeah, that Devin Booker, he was drafted at 13. Obviously right now he's having a pretty good career. He's had a pretty good career. He dropped 70 points at one point of his career against the Boston Celtics. So he's been pretty good. The Suns got a steal in that draft. Like, that Devin Booker should have, like, right now where Devin Booker is at, he should have been a top 3 pick in the NBA draft, 2015 NBA draft. So that is Devin Booker right there. The 4th player on my list for, you know, for a draft steal. So now let's get right into the last player on my list of the draft steals. The 5th player on my list that I got as a draft steal in the last 5 years, that is Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat. So Bam Adebayo, he was drafted as the 14th pick in the 2017 NBA draft. So he was barely in the lottery. Like, he was barely in the lottery. He wasn't even top 10. He was drafted at the 14th pick in the 1st round by the Miami Heat. Good thing they didn't trade Bam Adebayo to another team like the Nuggets traded Mitchell to the Utah Jazz. They would have regret doing that, but they had drafted Bam Adebayo, 14th pick, 2017 NBA draft. Right now, Bam Adebayo has a pretty good career right now. He's a good player, top center in the league. He just got 41 points against the Brooklyn Nets recently. So yeah, I know the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets have zero defense. Like, they got zero defense right now. The Brooklyn Nets have no defense. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets have no defense, but Bam Adebayo dropped 41 points. At the end of the day, 41 points is 41 points. He dropped 41 points against the Brooklyn Nets. So right now, he's been having a pretty solid career. He's a top... you can say he's a top 3 center, but he's a top 5 center in the NBA. He's a top 5 in the NBA. Top 5 center. Because you got Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Joel Embiid, the 2 best centers in the NBA. And then you obviously got Karl-Anthony Towns. So you can maybe you can argue that Bam Adebayo is better, but I still have Karl-Anthony Towns better than Bam Adebayo because Karl-Anthony Towns is so skilled offensively. Like, I'd rather have Karl-Anthony Towns than Bam Adebayo. I know some Heat fans will say that Bam is better than Cat because of his defense, but Cat is just so skilled offensively. I gotta go with Karl-Anthony Towns. So Bam Adebayo, he's a top 4 center in the NBA, top 5 center. So he's still a pretty good player on the Miami Heat. He's arguably their best player. I wouldn't say that though. Some people will say he's the best player on the Miami Heat, but he's the second best player on the Miami Heat behind Jimmy Butler. So yeah, Bam Adebayo, the 5th player on my list. So that is all the players on my list of the top 5 draft steals in the last 5 years. I know Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic was drafted in 2014. He's another draft steal, but you know that wasn't 5 years ago. So yeah, so our list, we had Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Bam, Brogdon, and Pascal Siakam. So in my opinion, all those 5 players were draft steals. They all weren't drafted in the top 10. Neither were they drafted in the top 5 or the top 3. So those are the 5 players in my opinion that were draft steals in the last 5 years. Keep in mind, this list that I said it's not in order. So just because I put, let's say, Donovan Mitchell number 1 doesn't mean he's the best player out of all of these. So this is not in order. So if you guys didn't make it all the way to the end of this video, like this video if you agree with my list, or if you like my list as well. And yeah, feel free to comment down below if you have a different list than me as well. Just feel free to comment down below. And yeah, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.